First up on the docket today is a band called Astral and it's sent in by a guy named Zach. The song we're going to listen to and analyze first is called The World Is Not Enough. And I tell you what you ought to do, just sit back, listen to the song, maybe go over to their Facebook or find them on Bandcamp and, see what you think about it and get some context while you're listening to the song. Astral Planes Co. Astral Planes CO. That's a Twitter handle. That's what they are at Bandcamp, Facebook.com. Astral Planes Co. Let's sit here for a minute and listen to the song The World's Not Enough, and then we'll discuss it. Here we go.
Sometimes life just won't cut you a break. They'll throw you in the river, wash you away, out of the water and into the flame. Cast the first stone if you never made a mistake. Step from the darkness and into the light. Sleep well, come soon. So just close your eyes. Sometimes it feels like you can't get away. Lord never meant for these birds to be caged. Don't buy what they're selling, that facade will decay. I love you for you, so don't change a thing. Before dawn comes, it's the worst time of night. The sun's on the horizon, it's almost in sight. And you know that the noise burn louder than they bite. This weather will pass.
All right, that's Astral Planes. Go like his Facebook page. Go tweet them. Go tell them that you heard them on this podcast. I will appreciate that, and they will too. Okay, so let's talk about this track a little bit. I'll start with a negative thing, and that is that I've got some positive stuff to say for sure. But the thing I want to get out of the way is, as soon as this track came on, it is so damn loud. And I would go so far as to say somewhere between the recording, mixing, and mastering, it's almost ruined for me because of how loud it is. The whole song is intended to be a build. I understand that. And it gets really loud by the end, but it starts fully loud. So just right there where the guitar enters and then the vocals enter, it's already hitting my meters, and the stuff is yellow and red, even when it's just barely beginning. And I can analyze that technically, but just perceptually, it just crushes my ears from the very beginning, and it kind of defeats the effect of having the song build or go anywhere. And that really is too bad, because I have some positive stuff to say about this, and that is, I'll tell you what the really good news about this is. Zach, assuming Zach is the singer, Zach's a really, really good singer, and I think that he has some real potential, and that's not to diminish what he's doing here and the music or the song, but I really believe that he's got I'm going to take a question from Zach in a little bit here too, but I want to make sure to point out what jumps out at me, and it's not the music or the chords or anything, and it's just too bad about the recording that it is the way it is there, but I like Zach singing. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. He has a big tool belt of what he does with his voice. He's got really good control of it. And I'm going to give you a couple examples. So here's the first thing that he does really well. He has this little squeak in his voice, and it's very attractive. I think it shows control and character and kind of chaos, and a lot of good singers have this. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. This is a really neat thing in his voice. So listen to the word "come" here. I think it's "sleep will come soon" or something like that. But listen to the word "come" here. It's really interesting. And also a nice little vibrato on the word "soon" there. That's a neat trick in his tool bag that he's certainly aware that he has. So, okay, here's another one. Here's another trick that he has. He has this little falsetto that he uses, which is a whole nother thing that is, again, it just shows his versatility. So let's check out how he handles this. And that's pretty emotive. I mean, that takes a little bit of commitment and confidence to be able to go really light there or whatever that is and pull it off. And so very good on that. That's all that stuff is character really and versatility. And then the opposite of that falsetto is he has a really strong, aggressive, screamy thing that still maintains the pitch. And here's an example of that right here. So that's the kind of character that you're kind of looking for when you're working with a singer. And so many bands and amateurs and up-and-coming people, they put all this music together and it's super intricate and all this stuff, and then the vocals are just, they don't have any balls, they don't have any guts, they're never vulnerable. And vulnerable is a good word for it. So the falsetto and that squeaky thing in there, that's vulnerability. And screaming, all three of those are vulnerable qualities and character in a voice. And that will take somebody very far in the long run if they stick to it, regardless of this song or the next song or this recording or where he's at. This bodes really well for Zach for his total future career, that he already has those things in place. Just that he has that vocal quality alone makes me very optimistic about Zach and his career. I got a question from Zach. This is something new that I'm doing, and I've got questions from the people that submitted these songs that I'll address directly. So here's Zach himself.
Hey Matt, this is Zach Kane from Astral Planes. I want to know how you would try to grow a band if you had no connections and little catalog in 2017. Do you think that the same methods that you used in the early 2000s with Emery are still applicable now?
No. Oh my gosh, no, they're not applicable. The things that would work now, or the things that worked then, flatly wouldn't work now. We used to call venues and across the country and tell them stuff like, we've played with a band that was on a label. Can we play at your club in Louisiana? And we'd get yes sometimes on that. And there was, just to be a real band that had gear and a trailer and could get to another town was almost enough to be noticed, or to drive to a record label or do something obnoxious. You could get noticed then, and there was a lot less bands, and the communication was difficult. So if you could just communicate with somebody, you were on the right train. Now the communication is completely ubiquitous. You can meet anybody, you can talk to anybody, and everybody has a band, and it's not impressive. For instance, back then, people would ask us, they say, wait, y'all have a CD? Like, your music's on CD? Kind of thing. And now everybody's expected to have a high quality, and it means nothing to have a high quality recording or be able to stream something or send somebody something or demonstrate something. So yeah, it's not the same at all. Today, it's like even having a good recording and having good music it's not going to be enough. It really isn't. There has to be a story attached to it, and I don't know how to do that. I'm fortunate to have started in a less competitive time, but today, here's what I recommend: have sex with a Kardashian. And maybe play your music in the background on the sex tape. That's probably that's an extreme example and a facetious one maybe, but that's closer to what would work today than what we were doing at the time. But the point is, you need to have a story. It needs to be, oh, that's the guy who this, or the band that something. There's got to be something more to it than simply what the music is, because is both a good thing and a bad thing. That music is so accessible and possible for everybody to create. So I'm not going to complain about that, but I am saying it's for sure harder than anybody ever. It's harder now than it has ever been to get noticed, of course, and everybody knows that. The other thing that I would say that's valuable today is to be highly stylized or niche. So niche works in business and in music and art because you can speak to very specific people. So the stronger and more detailed your style is, and the more focused it is instead of broad, let's say, the better off you're going to be, because you can just cater to or be noticed by a very focused group of people. There are no real solutions to it, and those who are both good,